the message.
Yes, it is.
Yes, sir.
I don't think they understand what they're looking at and what they had. Let me see. There we go. I don't understand what they. I don't think they understand what they're witnessing. Can you kind of try to explain to them the real message of what we're trying to get across and what I know what I think the media is doing, but I want to get what you think they're doing.
Well, the media is systematically, culturally programming us to destroy each other. They program you to focus on hate. They program you to always focus on drama. They even took away all the educational programs off television. That's why Bill Cosby went through what he went through. He tried to change NBC. Once he tried to purchase it, they was like, "How dare you?" Because he wanted to bring educational programs back. Why was Sesame Street be canceled? Why would things like Connection and teaching you about electricity, all of these programs they used to put on Saturday morning cartoons is even gone. Anything that was educational for children, my cousin wasn't even allowed to watch TV anymore in the mornings because he said, "Hey man, they put in too much stuff on TV now that's not even supposed to be." He's like, "I'm on Comedy Central or Cartoon Network, and they got some cartoon on there at like 2 in the afternoon." And I'm like way too adult. I'm like, "Oh, you can't watch this." So the television had to be monitored, and now it's like no more filters. So now your kids are exposed to all of this stuff, and now with technology, you have television right on your phone. It's hard to keep these kids away from this stuff. You don't have to tell them anything. You be like, "Where you hear that from?"
Yeah.
These kids, right? They pick it up and they go with it so quick because you be so busy doing what you're doing. You turn around, they got stuff on their phones. They on their watch now. My cousin got a watch thing. I'm like, "It's on your watch now? You got a phone on your watch? You James Bond? You don't even have a job."
Yeah.
Well,
Go ahead.
Yeah, the thing is that this was systematically done because once you keep people distracted, you can change law. We just had 53 laws changed Friday, last Friday. We don't even know. We had 93 laws changed within this year. And then one of the changes here, we're the first state in the country to allow Asian American history to be taught in the classes out here in all the schools. They're gonna teach Asian American history. But I'm like, wow, I didn't even see that as a change, but they just put this law in, nobody's talking about it. They made 52 other new changes since Friday. Nobody's even looked. So now, this is why I try to tell people, you have to, everybody focus on Trump, Biden. It's cool to focus on the President of the United States of America, but if you're not focused on what's happening right outside your door, it don't make a difference. You should know who your alderman is in your ward, because that's important. If you don't know your alderman, I was able to get things done all the way here, all the way where my grandmother lived in the house, and I stayed in the city. We were able to get the street paved, everything, because we paid attention and we said, "Look, these aldermen care about them jobs." Y'all don't know that, but they do. The aldermen in Chicago, they get paid $120,000 a year. And they got $175,000 they get to pay out for 3 employees a day. And they got $75,000 in their expense account under the Title II for the Municipal Code of Chicago. So you have that at your disposal. So you think they want to lose all that money and get out of office? You got the power to vote them out. See, well, that's why when you see those people that have those block clubs, they pay more attention to those block clubs than their average everyday neighbor, because everybody's individual. Half of the people don't even know their neighbor next door. They ignore them down. Y'all have to bond together as a community, because once you can control the vote and say, "Hey, we're gonna vote you out of office," you think that guy want to lose that 120,000 a year, and he gonna give away that 175? See, now you're affecting financial. That's where your power coming in. You have somebody in there working for you, and you get things done. And the more people you unify and control the power of votes, that's why they're fighting now for voting rights, because they're trying to change all of it now to lessen what your vote could mean. Because they realize how powerful the vote is, and that people are waking up now with all this technology and making it easier to vote. And that's dangerous for them, because they won't stay distracted and don't have time to go out and vote.
And I think you're absolutely right. We're trained to focus on the distraction and focus on the presidential election and not our local elections. And when we do have a presidential election, they don't even talk to us about anything that they're doing. They bring out hot sauce. They bring out a rapper. They bring out who we like. And so I saw that early on, and I've been saying this the whole time. It's all about who you like and what group you're in. And that's why they did this whole Instagram thing. It's all about likes and who we like. We have to get back to having a conversation. I can't get mad at you for your opinion. People say they'll start the conversation like, "Oh, I don't agree with everything Karceno said," and then such and such, such and such. But then once they said that, they go into the conversation looking for the disagreement. Exactly. When I go into a conversation with you, I'm hearing everything you're saying, and even if something I don't agree with, I'm not going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about what we agree on. All the stuff you said this far is stuff that we need to hear. And that's not what we're hearing on our television station. We're hearing about tragedy. We're hearing about all these things that has nothing to do with the betterment of people, period, or let alone just black people.
Yeah, and they use the most popular media they can. Mm-hmm. They look at the monitor, they say who people gravitate to the most. Mm-hmm. And if they can't see somebody up there that they could work with, they'll make the guy. Yeah. They'll put him up there. LeBron James, he's up there. Stephen A. Smith, he's up there. They put these guys in position to silence people that want to actually ask questions. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying even coming up with ideas, they don't like Kyrie Irving because he asks questions. Yes. They consider it to be dangerous. Yep. Kevin Durant barely speaks at all, but when he speaks, they attack him because he doesn't follow their status quo. He's gonna wake up people to ask questions. Kyrie his mind is thinking in a way that these are the questions they think. Because when he speaks, I said, well, I don't see what a problem with anything he said. That's actually a good question. Right. What are your plans besides let's hold hands and put on shirts and take a knee? I know for LeBron, that's fine. But for everybody else, it don't make sense. And LeBron, they put out this whole narrative of LeBron going to become a billionaire. And I don't know where that started. It's floating everywhere. LeBron's going to be a billionaire. LeBron will be a billionaire by the end of the year. And I'm like, well, that's great for LeBron. But he's from Akron. He's from Akron, Ohio. Akron, Ohio, in February of 2020, right before from the whole COVID virus hit, they have led the state in evictions of African Americans, everybody in that community. The highest eviction almost in the state. They're like almost for African Americans, almost the highest in the country. Akron, Ohio. It was the highest in the whole state of Ohio. That's where you're from. I'm like, that's your town. Isn't that where you built the school? Mm-hmm. But see, they put the school out there because it's just really his name. See, if he really was doing this school was a farce. He doesn't control none of the education that comes in there or what the kids are being taught. The state can change it. It's a state school. So the state controls it, which means the taxpayers, you, the board, have to pay for the school. LeBron don't have to put another dime in the school. Mm-hmm. If he made it a charter, that means everybody donates, and it's full donation at a charter school. So you can control the academics, curriculum, what they learn. Like Jalen Rose, shout out to him. His school, he had over 89% graduation rate.
Shout out to Jalen Rose.
Yeah, he had his first graduation class, I think about a year ago. I want to commend him for that because that was a remarkable achievement. And yeah, it's cool to have a school, but when you got pictures all on the wall of you, Dr. Martin Luther King and Malcolm X all in one photo was on the wall, it's just narcissistic. Then he gonna wear the civil rights suits and the glasses on like he just came from a rally when they interviewed him at the school. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, this dude here he's textbook propaganda. And whenever you look up propaganda, they should have that picture of him in that civil rights suit and them doggone sunglasses, them eyeglasses on that he never wore again, sitting over there trying to do interviews. Now, the thing about it is, I don't like the way he allows them to use him as a puppet.
Mm-hmm.
So my thing is, you should know, you want to be the face so bad that you know what you're doing is fake. But when there's real issues going on in your city that you didn't even tweet about it, LeBron. You know it's happening. It's written in your paper everywhere. All the people that look like you, that grew up where you grew up in your neighborhood, are being evicted out of their area. They're gentrifying that area. It's obvious. It ain't about, oh, they just can't pay their bills. This was going on before COVID. It's the highest in the state of Ohio, and that's where you're from. I'm not saying it's LeBron's job to pay everybody bills. I'm saying you charities and all the things that you do, this is something that needs to be done in your community. Where are you, LeBron?
Yeah.
You know, you need to tweet about it. You didn't even put out a tweet to bring awareness to it. That's what I'm saying. Matt Carter, he there too. Ain't that your buddy, your sidekick, LeBron? He right there with you. Why he didn't say nothing about it? Rich Paul, whatever, he ain't say nothing about it. Your guy, your other friend that just holds your bags, he ain't say nothing about it. All y'all from Akron, right? So my thing is, if they're not saying anything about it and bringing awareness, why? That makes you think. And they say anything about it?
No.
Right.
And, you know, I know they coach you up and tell you. Like I said, I played in the league, and they coach you up on certain situations. They tell you before the game, hey, you get asked about this, just say this or don't say this. And you be like, well, I ain't with that. Like, you have a right to say nothing. I'm like, I ain't going out to shoot today then. Because it's like, I'm not gonna say what you want me to say. So when you stay in, there's a consequence for that. Like they say, if you don't do what they want, there's a consequence. And that's what company policy is. They kicking us in the ass in every aspect of freedom. Anytime you try to be an individual, it seems like there's a punishment for it.
Yeah.
What do you say to that?
I believe that's true because they keep you in fear. They always dangle something in front of you. People fear like you're gonna lose your money, and they always come at you monetarily. People are always afraid to say, you know, because they're afraid of what they would lose. I mean, because of Charlemagne, they took my monetization away from YouTube for 6 months because me and Star got on. And for 6 months, they thought that would break me because they had no reason to do it. I didn't do nothing wrong, but they was like, we gonna see what he did. Now without us, he gonna he gonna come back and form. And then I'm like, oh no. We didn't do nothing wrong. We gonna wait this thing out. We gonna fight it all the way through because you did it wrongfully. You did it. Somebody sent something in because I've told the name of the people who holding the strings. So I'll find out who's holding the strings, and they don't like that because that's not supposed to happen. You're not supposed to know who's holding the strings. You're supposed to say, look, talk to the puppets. Their job is to take the abuse. Don't look behind the curtain.
So let me ask you this. What is it going to take for people to wake up and actually see the full message of what we're saying? Because now that Stephen A. did what he did, now they're going to have foreign players thinking that this guy is setting the stage of what it is to be an American, baseball player or whatever. And he apologized to everybody else but the Nigerians. What does that mean to you?
Somebody told me just today on my live that he apologized today to the Nigerians. Because he was
after the Heat.
Yeah, the Heat. Because he knew it was going to look real bad if he didn't apologize to them. But what you just said, it's changing. It's changing. It's already working. Because now people got to watch now what they're saying. They are really afraid to say something that they can go against the grain because people are listening. Man, I ran into a dude at the strip club the other day. He was talking about, what we got? Shouts out to Sam.
Hey, listen, I was at the gas station just a minute ago. Dude scared the hell out of me. I'm sitting there doing a text. I got my daughter in the back. I'm getting gas. I'm trying to be, incognito.
Right.
And my windows rolled up. He said, I hear somebody saying, Mama's cooking. Mama's cooking. I look up. He coming over to the truck and another dude came out. So my encounters have been pretty positive. So it's like, this is the stuff that people really wanted to say. And they're actually starting to wake up and see it. it seems like they need a little more guidance, because right now it's still helping them because people are actually going there to see what it is that they're saying, so that they can, see what I'm going to say or we're going to say. Right. We got to figure out a way to effectively get that off our airways, because it's hurting our kids.
Right, and that's why, like right now, my kids, we got them, like my godsons and everything, and my cousins. I send them to like try to get them in different programs and things of that. Like we go online and check out new things, and now when they get older, I'm starting to put them in coding because they got online coding you could do. But out here, you can see what a neighborhood is flourishing looks like. If you're in a flourishing environment, you get to see why it works that way. They have recreation. They have things for children to do. They have different type of recreational centers. They have different parks. If you go to a place where it's not functional, you see those things don't exist. Though there's no educational place for them to go to read, study, just to interact with other kids. So they don't grow. More people from other neighborhoods, when they see each other, just because of the neighborhood they from, there's tension. That person might never done anything to you, but because the neighborhoods y'all from, they might be tension. But if you had a recreational center, these people had a meeting ground where they actually met and talked, and they found out they had a lot more in common than they actually did. And we did that with the Nate Jones Foundation. We've been putting together with Craig Hodges, John Brewster, Kendall Gill, all of us here in Chicago. We were putting together these events, and we were trying to build trade schools and have them built in the city, in the community. And we put together a plan. What we did, because all the leaders call themselves the leaders. I hope they have this on YouTube somewhere. Mm-hmm. They're all the black leaders supposed to met up here in Chicago. Farrakhan, they had oh my gosh, I can't remember the rest of them, but they had all the people who were selected. I think, what was it, Charles Goodman and all of them, they all met at Chicago State University. And it was the meeting of the world leaders. And I'm there and I'm listening to this, and all of this go down, and everyone had all these plans and ideas for the trades that we were talking about, and they got their money. Dr. Cornell West, he was there too, because I remember he was one, everybody made great speeches, but nobody put a plan in action. Not one. And I was like, all of this people came out, they listened to the people, the real people that wanted to speak, they didn't really let them get to the microphone. But people had plans, and people had ideas, and they were getting their communities in line because they're ready for change. A lot of people are. We went there with a plan, and what we were going to do is have all these people who were contractors, different type of architects, to take one day out of their week, teach a class on Saturday for free, for charity. Mm-hmm. We had people signed up to do that. They agreed that they would do this. We had contractors to teach these young kids free trades, teach them about how to, be a contractor and all of these different things. So on this day, all we needed was the funding. They were so nervous about that because we put so much pressure on them to do it that they actually came up with an idea to block it, saying that, well, because you guys have very low census in African American, like we don't sign the census, and because of that, it dictates how much money can go to the community and how much money the government's gonna spend. Because you don't fill out your census, that limits the amount of money and resources we can put in there. Because people are not registered as like they live there and all this, they're not taking the time, so we can't allocate the money there.
See, a lot of people didn't know that though. They just get the paper and just throw it in the trash.
Exactly, but see this is why we have these conversations, because now the people are listening here, they're gonna go and start asking questions. Say, okay, all right, I'm gonna play a game. We're gonna fill out the census, and then we wanna know why the money, if the money don't come in, y'all gonna have to say something.
Yes. That's what this is about, sharing information. And so
shouts out to Kwame Brown Bus Life. Go subscribe and follow that page at Kwame Brown Bus Life. Thank you again for having me on. Absolutely. You can finish that video over there. We had a great time. It was very educational. It was a lot of jewels dropped on that video. We had a lot of fun too in doing it. Oh yeah, I enjoyed it. Now, some people had questions that they wanted to ask about the interview. What's his name? Jose Hernandez. Okay. Jesus Hernandez. I'm sorry. I'm a little sleepy. Jesus Hernandez saying, why don't you and Kwame Brown get a television show like ESPN? That would be great. Well, the thing is that one, this is like a television show. We don't have a network. We don't have to deal with some problems with distribution and everything else. But basically, this is our network. So we can always collaborate and join things like on the StreamYard like we just did yesterday. It was more people watching us than probably watching some shows on television. People were entertained. People were happy and satisfied with it. There was people who never heard me probably before was on there. Didn't know who I was or what had happened or, and just said, hey, I like what this guy's talking about. Now, I don't know how many subscribers I gained because of it. I'm quite sure I gained a few. I didn't check that out, but as long as the message is out there, that's the point that we can't forget. The message. Actually doing the work, actually supporting the work, standing behind it. K Freeze. When is Kwame Brown gonna come on your page? Kwame might come sometime next week. We might have it up there. We'll check and see. People got their own lives, they got to deal with. But we might bring them on the StreamYard and let some of the guys talk to him. Is that JK? JK7. I don't know what this means with all these numbers and letters. But all right, forget all that. We just gonna go to the message. I have a coding school in my community. I need help with expanding. I mean, you could promote if you have a coding school. Just promote it, and you can put it in the comment section of the video. You can easily just go there and put your coding information. We'll highlight it. And another thing, I know y'all mean well and all that, but I'm not Kwame's messenger. Like I know you guys come to my email. I don't even know how y'all got it, really, but it's probably in the description box. But anyway, but I don't. You guys are sending me all this information. And you saying, "Dear Kwame," I'm like, I'm not Kwame Brown. Kwame has his own page. He has his own thing. You got to contact him through his channels for that. They'll be, give this to Kwame for me. It's like, I don't work with, we don't work together like that. I'm not for this to start. Here, this guy sent you this. I don't know him, but here. Not finna send all your information and all this stuff to him unless he has. You gotta go through his proper channels to get his information.
I applaud your efforts. I'm just saying it's better for you if you do that because I got other stuff I gotta do. And that's how I'm checking my emails for because I got other businesses that I deal with, so I gotta go and do this first. So all that other stuff that's going on is you have an easier time yourself trying to get to him. It's Kwame Brown single. Patricia, I don't know. You might have to ask him. I wouldn't assume it, but you have to ask him that. That wasn't on my mind. K Tech saying you are right about the laws being changed. They're making changes all over the country, not just Illinois. What are some of the key changes that you saw with the state and the only a few changes that really meant something to me. They're changing what could be taught in the schools. Right now, prayer in some of the schools are taken out in certain states, but each state basically has their own laws. So you have to check with your state to see which laws have changed. When I said 93 laws have changed, I don't know if I said the state of Illinois, but that's what I meant. In the state of Illinois, there was 93 laws changed since we've had Governor Pritzker in there. We just changed 53 on Friday. So you got to go and check you can go and check the new law changes. And with Google, you can just easily put it in there and it'll pop up and you'll find out the laws that were changed. No, I mean questions about the interview. I shouldn't even put that down. But yes, I did meet Tempest Blesso from the Cosby Show. We did. When will Kwame be on here? Oh, that would be a good match. That would be a great wrestling match. Me and Kwame tag team against Steven Jackson and Matt Barnes. I would have to get in shape for that. But it would be funny. I would admit that would be a funny match. I'm tagging Kwame in right away. And as soon as Matt Barnes is in there, boy, that's gonna be it. Matty gonna try to be friends. I'm about to jump on the top of you like a trampoline. We gonna win. I'm gonna tell you that right now. We gonna win. I'm coming with everything. Objects in the trunk. Boom! Oh, he did it again. He throws it out of the ring. Karceno cheating. 1, 2, 3. Kwame gonna come with that red clay and rub it all in Matt hair. Oh yeah, take some of that. Ah! Becky with the good hair. That's some of my mama's cooking. Put some of that red dirt in his hair. He ain't know what that's about. And them fire ants gonna be tearing his head up. See, you don't know about that, Matty. Them red fire ants. Ain't gonna tear your butt up. Well, this don't make sense. I wish you and Kwame would have spoke on the homeless situation in the country and how more African Americans are becoming more homeless. I did, really. I said evictions over in Akron. We was talking about that. Thanks, Keith. I did talk about that. I talked about how they were evicting people. Akron is one of the highest in the country, Akron, Ohio, and they're the highest in the state of Ohio. So that's basically the homeless. If you being evicted and thrown out in the streets. Not only did I do the research, I actually found that information out from people in Akron who were reaching out to LeBron. That's something else I didn't say in the video, but they were reaching out to LeBron to no avail. They know friends of his that still stay in Akron and saying they were like, get in contact with LeBron so he could talk to these people. People are getting thrown out in the middle of a virus. You and Kwame needed to talk about the COVID-19 scam. COVID was created so that they could come in, change more laws, and immobilize. Okay. I think I know what they're trying to say. Appreciate it. Red one dog squad. I don't know what the rest of that means. I don't know if that's your gaming tag or whatever. But I think I know what you're trying to say. What you're trying to put into words and make a phrase here is basically stuff that we really did kind of cover. But you got to understand, there's more things that we're going to talk about in the future. We just put the majority of the things out there that we felt that was in need first. So talking about the way they do education, the way they're teaching our children, these things are more vital to us and more important to us right now because these are, we're almost in a state of emergency. Like I said, we got people that can't even read and write. I had a friend who was close, he moved in our neighborhood and, he's street. Everything about him is street. And he's going to this prestigious school now because he lives in the area. And academically, he didn't match up. And the school decided to pass him along because he has so much influence on all the other students there. Needless to say, he was black. The kids were white and Asian and Hispanic. But they gravitated towards him because he was this different energy. So when he came in there, everybody loved him. And, hey, what's up? And they want to walk like him. They want to dress like him. So the school passed him along, no matter what grades he got, to try to get him out of the school. They said, graduate him. And they did. They graduated him and to get him out of the school because his grades was never at the level where he should be out of school. He should have still been in it. But I later find out when I went over his house, he had his girlfriend writing a book report for him before he graduated. And I never knew he couldn't read or write. And I had been knowing him for years. Never knew he cannot read or write. He can make out, you say, give me the Coca-Cola. He knows what the Coca-Cola. You say, give me the ketchup. He knows what the ketchup is. It's not like He can't go through a day. But if you had to say, man, did you see this right here? He could only make out basic words. He could not read, basically, or write. It was the most shocking revelation that I had ever experienced in my life. I've never seen anything like it. Could not read or write. So, and the system thought it'd be best to push him along. And I'm thinking of all the grades that push these kids along and how many other schools were doing this just to get people out just like that. Once he's out our system, not our problem. Wow. So, y'all need to get on that coon, Jason Whitlock. You and Kwame need to bounce on his head. Jason Whitlock, I know what he is. I mean, but he got smart and figured it out and said, okay, Fox don't want to pay me my money. I'm going to go to the internet. I don't know how or what it's doing for him because I never was a fan really of his. I mean, he makes some good points. But he's one of those trolls. He looks for the negative. He goes, everybody is singing praises and the positivity here. What negative route could I take? I'm going to go there. That's where the controversy is, because everybody's over here like, hey, this is a good idea. We need somebody else to come with the play devil's advocate. And that's what his name of his show needs to be, David Devil's Advocate, because that's exactly what he do all the time. Now, I could see if, it was legit, but it's like happening too frequently. It's like, man, with everybody, dog? Everybody is like this? Like, do you like anybody, Whitlock? I mean, it's just devil advocate all the time. So I choose to not really give those people attention. Him, Butt Boy, all of them. I just lead them kind of in the circus. Skip Bayless is your friend, Nathaniel. Nathaniel with an L. No, Skip Bayless isn't my friend. He's trying to say Skip Bayless is your friend. Kwame hates Skip Bayless. Why y'all didn't talk about that? Y'all could have debated on that. I want to hear a debate. No, you want your part. I know what you're talking about, Nathaniel, and I know what you're trying to do. What you're trying to do, Kwame addressed that in the video. What Kwame addressed is saying that we're not gonna talk about the things we disagree with. We're just gonna talk about the things we agree with. Things that we're on the same wavelength. Now, Skip Bayless, that would have just been a debate topic and going back and forth on that really don't mean anything. So it's like we're not getting anywhere. Some of the things Skip say, I don't agree with. He likes the Cowboys. I hate the Cowboys. So that we disagree there. LeBron, I agree with. Me and him are on the same page. So I get most of the stuff that Skip says about certain people, but we don't agree on everything. See, you guys get into that notion just because you like a person, everything they say you agree with. I think Isaiah Lloyd Thomas III is the greatest basketball player and the greatest basketball mind that probably has ever played the game. But I don't agree with him saying LeBron James is the greatest player in basketball or even second. and the way he holds him in high regard. I totally disagree with him with that. So that's just shows you, gives you an example of the difference. Now, I think the Sunni Muslims and the Nation of Islam, they had problems for a long time because other Muslims don't consider the Nation of Islam real Muslims. One, because of their garments that they wear. They wear suits with bow ties, and that's just an insult to the other Muslims. And so when they came together and people wanted to write like, oh my God, they're coming together. And they said, we're coming together because we need to come together and have these meetings. And we decided to focus on the things that we agree upon, not the things that we disagree with. Let's not focus on that and make that the issue. Because that's what people are using to keep us apart from each other. So let that be key. Now, if you want to support the page, my Cash App is Karceno. And thank you guys, man. The Spiritual Warrior, all you guys, man, who came up and supported the page. Some did it last night. We appreciate the love and support. Thanks to Kwame Brown again for having me on. Thanks for everybody putting the work out there. You got 78 Sports TV, Blood Boxing, Self Talk. You got Daddy's Cooking, myself, HD, Welcome to HD TV. You had a lot of good things that were on that program. They had Tony the Closer showed up on the program. You had a lot of brothers out here that's actually doing what they said they were going to do and moving in the way that they... It's a lot of people out here that surprisingly are not following the program that they, and all the pitfalls they put in front of you to fail. It's a lot of people rebelling against that, and I'm glad to see it. Shouts out to Ethan Thomas too. Ethan Thomas is out there spreading the messages. And I told you, all it was going to take is one. Once one guy speak up that actually was in the league about all of these things that's going on in the league and what they do, the politics, everything, he was going to vouch for what I was saying. And that's going to open the floodgates, because now they can't deny it. Because now you have someone that played in the league is telling you, like, this guy ain't lying. He knows about the politics. He's winning there. They coach you and tell you what to say. Right before you go in there and talk to the media, they tell you all these different things that you got to follow. It's all politics. And they want you to play ball. But meanwhile, when your career is over, you're done. They have no longer any use for you. You're no longer any good to them. They don't talk about any Caucasian person's money. Luka Doncic is going through a negotiation right now. You don't hear anything about it, do you? They talked about it for maybe one day. You don't see them writing every day about no Luka Doncic and his contract. He's one of the top players in the league. They talking about, this Ben Simmons. Where's Ben Simmons going to get traded to? What about Kawhi? What's going to happen to him now? He's in a contract year. It seems like he's going to be out a year. What's happening? So, you see how those narratives go? We expose LeBron. Well, they exposed themselves because this consultant or PR representative of LeBron, you got a white guy putting out your message. Where'd that come from? You got a white guy making a Black Lives Matter message for LeBron. We got to be more than a vote. He PR'd you to come out with that. I'm more than an athlete. This is more than a vote. So we know now it all makes sense as to why LeBron said what he says. So it makes sense. Them zaddies boys, those are the ones that's out there getting it done. Well, you got to follow the code of conduct for any place that you work. There's a code of conduct. So that's the standard. They all have a standard to follow, and that was it. Yeah, I was very tired when I did those things. But I'm feeling better now. Feeling up to getting some things done. I'm going to get on with my day. I had a great live chat with y'all yesterday. We were just talking, basically. We talked about, I think, basketball for a minute, and we just went into just talking, man, and asking all kind of questions. So that was cool. I appreciate that. Yeah, man, I was wore out. Yeah, I was spent. I don't know, man. I've always been someone that was like, let's go further. So we'll see. But anyway, this video's went long enough. Don't forget to subscribe again. Hit that notification bell. Subscribe. God bless you. And definitely any faith or religion you in, much blessings to you. Go out and have a productive morning. I'm out.